Before we wrap up this week's show, we want to quickly talk about AEW Redemption on pay-per-view. AEW putting on a show this upcoming Sunday before All In. I don't necessarily know what the idea of having another pay-per-view is before All In. It's a new one. It's added to the calendar. It's making it so that we know that AEW before long will fully have the 12-month, 12 pay-per-views a year. I don't know if they're up there yet, but they're pretty close, I would say, if they're not. Anything about AEW Redemption from Montreal this Sunday night sticking out at you? Ticket sales wise, about 8,000 they're expecting on hand in that 23,000 seat arena. But Kenny Omega puts the title on the line, his first title defense. Chris Jericho, as the Painmaker, continues his little rivalry with Tommaso Ciampa. Kyle Fletcher, with his championship, the AEW International Championship, goes against Bandito. Cage and Copeland against the Death Riders. In something that started a few weeks ago on Dynamite. And then you got the return of Willow Nightingale, who just won that Casino Gauntlet, taking on Tekla, the AEW World title, among other matches. So anything here sticking out at you of interest? Any big things that you think could make this pay-per-view worth it and not make you be just looking straight ahead for All In?
I mean, I'm looking forward to Mox and Osprey versus the Bucks. I think that's going to be a good tag match. I think that could be the match of the night. Now, what people would argue is Omega and Knight could also be the match of the night, which that could definitely happen as well. The reason why I won't give it match of the night is I kind of feel like we already know what's going to happen. Omega's going to win.
This is one of those I didn't even know. I mean, AEW, they run their business a little different than what I'm used to. But yeah. I was under the impression when Kenny Omega won the belt, I was like, well, he's not going to be defending it against anyone at Redemption. They'll have to have some sort of tag team match, or he just won't be involved, even though he's Canadian and it's in Canada, because of the fact that it's just such a foregone conclusion. I mean, this is just like, we already know it's going to be Rock and Cena at WrestleMania after the Royal Rumble. But hold on, Rock's got a title defense against Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. That could change everything. And you're like, that's not going to change everything. And Kevin Knight was owed a championship match. That was a deal that he had going on for a while. So he's calling it out for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, what a crappy way to get your title match, but when we all know you're not going to win.
I mean,
it makes no sense.
Yeah, it's obviously we're going to get Kenny Omega versus most likely Will Ospreay, you know what I mean, at All In. Will Ospreay's already locked in. Kenny Omega most likely is going to be the one who wins this match and goes on to face Will Ospreay. I guess my question is, with Tekla and Willow Nightingale, with the winner of that match going on to face Mercedes Moné, who won the same kind of concept for her side of things, the Owen Hart Cup or whatever it is, to get her a match at All In. Who's going to face Mercedes Moné at All In? Will it be Tekla, the current champion, or the returning Willow Nightingale?
I mean, I think it's going to be Tekla. I think she's really one of the better talents in the women's division in AEW. I think she does everything well. And as I've noted, we've talked about it before, Willow Nightingale just doesn't do it for me. I know a lot of the AEW diehards love her. They think she's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. I just don't see it. She's not somebody I want to see win championships. And I guess that's the best way for me to say it. I watched, like, every time I watch her, I'm not entertained by her. You know what I mean? Like, people in the AEW fandom love her. Like, you're not going to hear a bad thing about her. And I don't want to say anything bad about her. She's just not somebody I'm interested in. And I really do like Tekla as a competitor. I enjoyed her on commentary. I think it was last week or week before. I think she has the total package. And I don't know what's in the water in Vienna, Austria, but that's where Gunther's from. And this Tekla's a pretty damn good competitor. And I believe she's from Vienna, Austria, if I'm not mistaken. So I really think she is going to win this match. I do think she moves on. And I do, honestly, I like her more now than I do like Mercedes Moné. Like, I was watching, everything I've seen of Mercedes Moné lately, I can't get into it. Like, it's hard for me. Even though she was in Boston, it's still like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it with her. I wish she would have stayed as Sasha Banks. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean, for me, Tekla is head and shoulders the best in the division as a whole right now. I think what she's doing, I think she could carry the torch of the women's division in AEW for as long as she wants. She's that damn good.
I do think things like Cage and Cope against the other Death Riders, so the Death Riders are two different, with Death Riders being with Will Ospreay and one of them and John Moxley against the Young Bucks, but the other Death Riders, Claudio Gastagnoli and Pac against Cope and Cage could be good. Obviously, Cope and Cage, you add on the fact that they're from Canada and neither of them are from Quebec, but you know what I mean? Kind of, they get that hometown flavor, if you will. I'm looking forward to probably like a Chris Jericho, weirdly enough, another Canadian, not from Montreal, taking on Tommaso Ciampa. I think that has a chance to be an entertaining match. I'm not saying it's going to be super brutal or anything like that. I think just the no holds barred aspect makes it so that there's going to be a lot of cool spots in that match, and I like both those guys a lot. And
You know
Kyle
what I
Fletcher
think
and
could be the
Bandito.
match? Fletcher and Bandito.
Yeah,
That to me could be that could be the match of the night. That's the thing with AEW. I will give them credit. They put on really good cards. I do think what we just talked about is being a little critical is I just don't know why you have Omega in a title match where it's a foregone conclusion. Other than that issue that I have with that scheduling of that match, I do like this card. I do think they'll deliver. I think Omega Knight will still be a good match, even though it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that that Omega retains. Now, let me ask you this. Could they, will they, may they, because of how the match finishes with Omega and Knight, would they insert Knight into a triple threat, or do you think that's definitely not
no,
happening?
but I do think this is a good audition. I'm not trying to say anything disparaging about Kevin Knight, but I think this is a great audition for Kevin Knight in order to get himself into being considered a main event wrestler. So that's where we get here, kind of maybe for the future. If you remember, WWE did this right when you'd go back and you'd see like CM Punk, he'd be going for the World Heavyweight title, but this is before CM Punk is considered a main eventer. This is like back when this is on a SmackDown and he's a low card to mid card, just debuted a few weeks ago kind of guy. It's a foregone conclusion, but it's the idea that maybe get him introduced to maybe be a main eventer in the future. So that would be my guess on that, and that's what I believe could possibly happen at Redemption. We'll see if it's a good pay per view. AEW always puts on good pay per views. The difference is it just seems kind of like a forced pay per view in the calendar before All In next month back in London.